Welcome to this week's Conversations for Change. Now, every Tuesday, we sit down with change makers in our community that are striving to help to improve the lives of Valley residents. This week, we are joined by former Tulare City Councilman and current Fresno firefighter Carlton Jones. Carlton, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here with us, man. You know, you're kind of in a unique situation. You cover a lot of the Valley geographically with the work that you were doing politically in the South Valley, and then your regular 9 to 5 here in the Fresno area. As we kind of just dig into these different issues around our community, kind of gives you a unique perspective about it. Talk to us about how you were able to work the balance between the two of those for the years that you did it.
It's a constant learning love for myself. And I'm born and raised in Tulare. I knew I wanted to be a firefighter since I was 5 years old. And, to be able to be living my dream is amazing. I started off in Tulare. I worked there for 8 years, and I got to meet a lot of the cool guys that worked for Fresno just doing the Fire Olympics. And it was a bigger department. It gave me a lot more opportunity to promote. And when I connected with Fresno Fire Department, it also allowed me to connect with that community. And I met some pretty amazing people, and to be able to serve the community that I lived in as a firefighter and a council member, and I'm trying to connect and be a service to the community of Fresno also, and wherever it takes me. Being on council, I got to see a lot of our country, and I've been to a lot of places, and I try to bring as much as I can back to our area, and that from Fresno to Tulare. It's been amazing.
Talk to us about some of the issues. Obviously, in our Conversations for Change series, we kind of try to zero in on some of those issues that you see within the minority communities and black communities. What unique challenges did you discover there in the South Valley?
Well, the South Valley and Fresno's, not exempt to that either, is our population numbers are very low when it comes to just the vast majority of people. I think in Tulare, we're down to 3% African American, and Fresno is about between 6 and 9. And it's a challenge for retention of a lot of your people when they go to college and become successful, because a lot of times if they go and become doctors or attorneys, it's really hard to find not just work but a base to kind of support what you want to do. But when I think about the different challenges, I'm excited because throughout our history, there hasn't been a challenge that we haven't been able to survive. And the other side of that is we still got a lot of growing to do.
Expanding off of what you're talking about there with what we want to happen is kind of the boomerang effect, to go out and get the education and come back to serve the Valley. What do you think would have to happen to be able to get those folks to come back into the South Valley, come back into the Fresno area, and settle down here and grow roots?
We as an African American community, we really need to build a support system. That our own network of African Americans really supporting African American businesses, investing in African American businesses, and being able at the same time serving everyone. That's we'll spend our money with anyone, and we need to create businesses and support businesses that will do the same thing. So that you create something where everybody wants to them, but you actually, to get started, you're going to need your own family members to invest in it and not dog it out. Be willing to spend a little extra money for what we feel is a quality product, and we'll get there. I think we're getting there. There's a lot of there's people like in Fresno, Terrence Frazier, who's actually going out to the community and teaching people how to invest, and teaching getting over those generational curses of only knowing how to work for our money and and allowing our money to work for us. And so we're getting there. We just need to educate our younger generations. And that's what that's one of the things I do now is I start teaching kids, especially my own, when they're 13 and 14, they're sitting watching me do my own taxes, and I want them to understand that stuff. And they see where my money goes, and I want them to understand that. But we're still being educated by a system that hasn't been really set up for us to be successful unless we go out and kick open doors and fight and do our own research to get those type of education. So
Talk
as
to,
far as getting people to come back that go out and be successful, Anthony, I don't know if that's something we really want to push. We want to be able to expand, and if you go and do something and you do your research, like every business I've ever watched, before they come to an area, they'll research that area and see how successful the metrics show that they can be there. Well, we have to do the same thing. If we have someone that goes and there's a Dr. Donna White. She's born and raised in Tulare, and she's one of the best pediatricians in the Bay Area. It would be very hard for her to have started off in Tulare and become successful. I think what she did as far as going out, representing the Valley, being from here, she's so proud to be from Tulare, and she became very successful. And now when she comes back and teaches and talks, it's very inspirational to that next generation. And then those following generations will be the ones that actually can take the resources that they get from the people that go out and be successful and set up a base here and grow here and learn here and build a customer base. I would hate for someone to come here and then fail just because we didn't have the infrastructure to support them already built.
Gotcha. No, I definitely understand that. Let's shift gears a little bit now. We were talking a little bit before the interview about this, and I do want to kind of touch on this. Talk to us about how, from what you've been able to see, how COVID had an impact there on what we were trying to do as far as supporting local businesses, different minority businesses really across the Valley. How has that had an impact? And then, of course, here in the Fresno area, have you seen a difference between what happens with those black businesses in the South Valley versus in Fresno, or is it generally about the same?
Well, when it comes to COVID, that was one of the pandemic definitely hit minority communities hard. It hit everyone hard. I don't want to discount for the effects that COVID had on anyone, but we have a different history when it comes with believing in medical science. And we have one of our own generational curses that we're trying to overcome is trusting the doctors and going to see the doctors and preventive care health. So we get this big giant pandemic, and as soon as they come out with this vaccination, the trust factor has to, do we believe it? Is this another method to hurt us? Is this the next Tuskegee experiment? And it takes those role models. It takes the people who are rooted in the community, especially our people. It takes people like you who we see all the time to be first, be a leader, be an example. Talk to us about if you've had COVID, or what was it like when you go to the doctor. Did you get the vaccination? What research you've done to know that these are the things we have to do to be safe. And then the other part, all the stimulus help and the economic help when our communities were affected at an 80% rate. What did we do to make sure 80% of the help went into that community? And that's having a connection with their elected officials. While I was on council was when the first wave of stimulus came through, and I fought very hard to make sure that the minority businesses, were able to get that help. And it was a challenge.
You know,
One of the Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
on the same vein that you're in right now, kind of expand on this a little bit more for us. For folks that, of course, of all backgrounds are getting a chance to watch this, kind of dive in a little deeper for us about why, and maybe a little bit of the history about why it's always been more challenging for those black businesses when it comes to being able to get help or come back. And you talked about the 80% impact. Why is it tough? Why is it a struggle to make sure that amount of resources is proportional when the stimulus and things like that go back out into the community?
Well, that's as I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's as simple as systemic discrimination. It's just cut and dry. A big pot of money will go into a room where people, elected officials, normally decide how that money is distributed, and it shouldn't be a challenge for. One of the challenge I had was making sure that. Our barbershop, one of the black-owned businesses in Tulare was our barbershop, and I'm fighting to make sure they get the same funds and same resources as the beauty salons that surround it, and that it was a challenge for me as an elected official to walk in and knock on the doors and make sure that that money that the barbershop got its fair share of the stimulus money, when I watched all the other businesses just get it pretty easily. Now, I sit on that side of the table here in Tulare. I can't speak on what that was like for businesses in Fresno. I would be on the other side. I'm on the public support side, and that side, just going out in the community, running calls, you see the distrust of people who don't want to go to the doctor or think that the vaccination is a computer chip so they know where we are. It's the things that you hear are crazy, but it's how I grew up. I had my great grandmother didn't trust the doctor. She didn't believe in them. She didn't trust the banks. And those generational curses we have to fight through. We have to get by them. And one of the best ways to do it is to when you go into the hospital, see more doctors that look like you. In your community, when someone pulls up on a black and white car, it's nice to see the community reflected in its services.
Right.
And the same in banks. Yeah, and even though our populations are small, it gives us a sense of comfort when we see that.
Talk to us a little bit more about the area, your exposure here in Fresno. You talked about having to go into different homes and things like that through the course of COVID as a firefighter. And as a black firefighter, what was that experience been like? We got a chance to profile some of the folks that work with you, the department here in the Fresno area. But while we have you here, share with us a little bit about what your journey has been like as a black firefighter here in the Fresno area.
It is one of the reasons I came to Fresno is because I felt that I didn't have the same opportunities to promote in Tulare, and I was running into some challenges. And so Chief Michael Smith, the first African-American chief, was the chief of Fresno when I applied and went over to Fresno. He hired me there. And, it's such a big department. It's, the fifth biggest city in the state. And so definitely between Sacramento and Los Angeles were one of the biggest departments in California. Mm-hmm. And so I went from a department where I was one of two African Americans, and now Tulare has absolutely none. Wow. To a department that had about, I think there was like 13 African American firefighters when I got hired there, and now there's 8 of us now, and it's nice to see, to see a reflection of yourself in the people you work with. There's some amazing people in the city of Fresno, some amazing firefighters, men and women, and it's just been more of a welcoming, growing department. There's such a huge group of people that if you want to promote, they'll help you, and it doesn't matter, what color you are or if you're male or female. There's just such a large group of great and amazing people. it doesn't, I actually became the first African American union president of Fresno Fire Department, and I was voted in by the body. And one of the things we did, we were getting stuff together to put in the museum. Fresno Fire has a section of a museum in the Fresno Fairgrounds, and I found this application for Fresno firefighters to join the KKK.
Oh my.
And yeah, and so one of the people that works with me in our union, apologized to me for that and asked if I wanted them to get rid of it. And I was like, no, this is history. That's one of the greatest tools and greatest successes of the Daughters of the Confederate were to erase their ugly history and replace it with BS and lies that they were so amazing and great. So I didn't want to get rid of that. I wanted to keep that history, just because it shows us where we came from. We definitely don't want to go back in that direction. And it also, one of the things it does for me is it's a beacon of exposure. Whenever someone sees that, I look and see who's proud of it. I look and see, like, when someone sees that and they, hey, Carlton, I'm sorry, do you want us to get rid of it? That shows me where their heart is.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, there's other people that would see something like that and say, this was the good old days. That shows me where their heart is. So
Yeah.
we definitely don't want to get rid of that. I want to keep it just because it shows. As far as this community working in Fresno, there's a lot of great people. There's Fresno still is an example. We're not exempt for what's happening in the rest of the world. I'm watching Fresno grow. I'm glad that I get invited to be a part of it. And one of the things that I always want to learn. I don't think that I know what it's like to be 60 yet. So when I come across someone who's 60 and they start talking, I shut my mouth and listen. And I try to pass those lessons on to a younger generation. I see so many people who I wish there was a way that I could pass on, like, the self-love that I have onto them. But when you love yourself, you definitely aren't going to let anything hurt you, and you're not going to hurt anything that's like you.
Wow.
And it just breaks my heart. I see these young kids, and they're addicted to a drug, or they're so mad at someone that looks just like them that they're willing to shoot them over $15, or shoot them over a bad breakup. And it's to me, it's just a reflection of the lack of love that they have for themselves. So while I'm still here, I'm a pour out as much as I can to that community and to the community I live in also.
I love it. Carlton, we're out of time for this morning. I really appreciate all that you shared with us this morning. And of course, we look forward to having you back here as we go throughout the year and different events and other things that we may not foresee that come up. We'd definitely love to have you back here, of course. Thank you so much for joining us this week on our Conversations for Change. If you are at home watching and would like to see more of what Carlton had to say, and also other topics that we cover from week to week, all you have to do is head to our website, yourcentralvalley.com.
One shout out. Can I get a shout out real quick?
Go for it. What you got?
All right. I want to get a shout out to No One, which is an organization in Fresno working behind the scenes to lift up our community. Shout out to Des Monique at Grumpy Burger doing your thing. Shout out to Keena McFadden. Shout out to Advanced Peace. And shout out to Fresno United. You guys keep doing your thing.
I love it. I love it. We're actually hoping to get Grumpy Burger on here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking Black entrepreneurship here in the Central Valley. So very cool.